Automatic transfer switch annual service as required by NFPA 110. All information expressed by Standby Power Solutions, LLC, or its officers is strictly the opinion of Standby Power Solutions, LLC. The automatic transfer switch is the most neglected part of an emergency power system, yet it may be the most important. The ATS monitors the utility power and decides when to start the generator. The controls are subject to rodent damage, moisture, and utility voltage spikes. An ATS transfers the load from normal power to emergency power, then back again. Contactors are damaged a little with every transfer. Movable mechanisms can come loose or need lubrication. Some ATSs use batteries to back up the control functions. Batteries need to be monitored and changed periodically. Indicating lights may burn out. Control switches may fail. Connections can come loose. An automatic transfer switch, though supplied by the same vendor that provides the generator, is seldom built by the same company as the one that builds the generator. As a result, the vendor's technicians are frequently not trained on ATS maintenance, installation, or even operation. This leads to neglectful maintenance. In an effort to protect building occupants, NFPA 110, Chapter 8.3.5 specifies basic maintenance procedures. They include checking of connections. Mechanical connections are made where load-carrying cables connect to the contactor assembly. These can become loose. In the lower right corner, you can see I'm pointing out a connection point. That's a lug where the wire goes in and is tightened down with a set screw. That's the same situation on the lower left, another connection point. Now those set screws may become loose, creating heat and a bad connection to the transfer switch contactor assembly. Sometimes I've found where the installing contractor failed to even tighten the screws. Inspection for excessive heat and contactor erosion. A loose connection or poor electrical contact can create resistance that results in heat. Heat can damage wiring and mounting surfaces. Heated areas are often discolored. Excessive heat can be detected with an infrared thermometer. In the bottom right, you can see burned contactors that need to be replaced, and to the right, that one is even pitted. On the left, you can see damage from heat to the phenolic enclosure around the lugs and wiring. Removal of dust and dirt. During construction, sometimes the contractor fails to seal openings in the cabinet. This allows insects and rodents access. Water can get into a poorly sealed enclosure. Rodents enter through unsealed conduits. On the right, you can see I'm pointing out open conduits. This is easily remedied with a material called duct seal. On the left, you can see spider webs, dirt, and debris in there that can interfere with the operation of the contactor. Replace damaged contacts. Contacts burned and pitted like these will overheat and fail. Most manufacturers recommend annual inspection and immediate replacement if the contact is damaged. The contact will accumulate carbon, resulting from the burning of the actual metal. That carbon then becomes a resistor, which causes heat in the contactor and eventual failure. Pitting and carbon buildup are a normal part of the process. An ATS is designed to transfer under load. When an electrical load is interrupted as the contactor opens up, an arc is created. The arc works just like an arc welder. It pits the surface area and burns some of the metal. The burning results in carbon buildup. Carbon acts as an insulator on the contact surface and obstructs the passage of electricity to the other side of the contactor. This creates heat. With every transfer, the buildup of carbon increases until the contactor fails. The annex in NFPA 110 recommends 1 major maintenance and 3 quarterly inspections per year. The major maintenance includes a thermographic scan, millivolt measurements, impedance readings across the contacts, lubrication of mechanical parts, and retightening of fasteners, among other procedures. Down there on the right, you can see some screws I pointed out. We've had to tighten those up from time to time. Those can come loose. On the left, that's a lubrication point. There are a number of mechanical devices inside that transfer switch that affect the transfer, and they need to be lubricated. Down below there, it says the contactor block. We've found those contactor blocks get loose after a while, and we've had to tighten those up because they can cause a malfunction. Now for the paperwork. Your service company should provide you with a form including a checklist as outlined in NFPA 110, Chapter A.8.3.5. After major maintenance is completed, the technician needs to run a 30-minute test as required in Chapter 8.3.2.1. That way, you're sure the transfer switch will actually work with the generator. Transfer switch batteries. Many transfer switch manufacturers use batteries to back up control functions. Some of these have limited life. When the batteries fail, the transfer switch may lose its timing function, its exercise cycle, or even fail to send the start signal to the generator during an emergency. Be sure your generator service provider is familiar with transfer switch battery life and replacement procedures. All information expressed by Standby Power Solutions, LLC, or its officers is strictly the opinion of Standby Power Solutions, LLC. Standby Power Solutions, LLC disclaims any liability for any personal injury, property, or other damages of any nature whatsoever, whether special, indirect, consequential, or compensatory, directly or indirectly resulting from the publication, use of, or reliance on this website or any information derived thereof. Standby Power Solutions, LLC also makes no guarantee or warranty as to the accuracy or completeness of any information contained herein. Anyone using this website should rely on his or her own independent judgment, or, as appropriate, seek the advice of a competent professional in determining the exercise of reasonable care in any given circumstance. All rights reserved. Do not reproduce without express written permission.